If you swear, if you swear Mark Zuckerberg stops it from coming up in the feed, so it's hard enough to get in the feed as it is, and you're going to go and make life difficult. Hello, everyone. See what I have to deal with? Do you see what I have to put up with?
Yeah, well, tell Uncle Mark Zuckerberg, come see me.
So Talkin Mess is now live. Okay, that's great. I need to go to my page.
Dude.
Hello.
Also, are we up to episode 24 now? Because last week was 23.
24. I'm good with numbers. 24. Hello, Miss Christy. How are you, darling? I'm sure you can add just as good as I can. So, fabulous. Hello to everybody. Hashtag Talking Mess. Make sure you tag, like, and share. We hope that you've had a fabulous time. If you are watching the replay, you need to be the same height as me. There you go. If you are watching the replay, thank you for joining us. We are literally hashtag crazy talking before we get to the 2-minute mark. That would be a long hashtag. That's a long hashtag.
You are such a
hashtag talking crazy until 2 minutes. This is fun. We have a good time. We talk mess. This is literally the mess of the talk, because if we're serious, it just can't. It can't happen. It's nobody's happy place. I was gonna say, somebody stole my water, but it's right.
You're such an idiot.
Hello, Miss Bronwyn. How are you, darling? I hope you're well. I'm having a great time. Let me party for one.
So, what is on the agenda for tonight? What are we going to talk about?
Oh, well, hoping that everybody's had a really great week. But what we're going to talk about is what is the mental block. What's the worst that can happen? See, right, so this is the thing. What's the worst that can happen? You can come on camera live and forget exactly what it is you're going to talk about. That's the worst that can happen. Never mind.
So,
Ricky RC, get it happening, peeps. Much love to you. Love you too. Loving all of you. I'm so glad that you're here. We're in for such a fun night.
We are in for a long, short session tonight. The reason being is that you have training coming tomorrow and Wednesday. So while in time, this will feel like it will be a short session. By how stupid that we go on, it could easily feel like a year. So just be prepared for that, people. And people.
It does not. My friend Jess, I have a friend, right? My friend Jess, well, actually, it's Jess, yeah. She says, Karen, Karen, love you, miss your face. I miss your face as well because I love your face. So there you go. I have a friend.
Very proud of you.
So we're talking about what's the worst that can happen. So if you do something and you try something and you give it a go, what's the worst that can happen? So
let's use something for you. Give me a time when something has worked out well for the oh my God, I got something in my.
So what does that have to do with you talking though?
Nothing. I just couldn't.
You can't talk when you got something in your eye. Clearly.
This is such a good but bad thing. Like, it just works so well tonight because what's the worst that could happen? While we look stupid as hell, we are having the best time.
Okay, we're not stupid. We don't look stupid as hell. People tune in because they want to laugh. Because everybody's life is so serious. Everybody's like, blah, 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 work, blah, 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 kids, blah, 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 earning money. We come and we just laugh and we have fun and we're here so that you can take the pippy out of yourself as well as us. This is
You are
so.
so
I'm so.
awesome.
You guys, I love you guys. Okay, so an example. Oh, it's terrible when you put me on the spot because my brain has to think. What was the question? what? What was an example
An
of
example of a
what's
time where something good has happened when it was, what's the worst that could happen? Well, the worst that could happen was something great.
um well, I guess when I went to the Kimberley, that was when I was doing the leadership program. That was like OMG.
Okay,
Um
unpack that for us.
so as a part of a leadership program, and Ricky's doing the laughing comment, so he's clearly having a great old time. Can I just say, he's either laughing at us or with us. I choose to go with the with us.
Either or.
Um, Either or, whatever works. So going to the Kimberley on a leadership program was both uh, amazing and horrendous all at the same time, and it really was a matter of what's the worst that could possibly happen. Uh, get, Actually, probably the worst that could happen was getting bitten by a snake. Like that was possibly the worst.
I
Walking along.
Yeah, you've told me some other stories, and I wouldn't think that was the worst. When Featherfoot nearly got you, that was probably the worst.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. That was several ones before though.
Of course, it was.
And Miss Kimberly um left a comment and said, "Eldine, you're glowing."
I don't know how. Like, I was in a good way because I was looking at the screen and like, am I? I was tripping. I was tripping.
You do. You look like you're glowing. You have that like after sweat. Did you
Awesome.
work out tonight? That whole I'm stressed as hell, but I'm
Um,
loving life type glow.
yeah, like
Yep.
I had obviously I worked out today, but I also had my girls in, and they're just such solid humans. So big shout out to Bronwyn and all my girls that came to the late night class. They just everyone in that crew is just a it's just a vibe to get there. So while we were just laughing and talking stupid, which there was a lot of that going on, there was also some really good talking points. One of the things that I caught on really quick, and I tell all my girls that, well, pretty much everyone that comes into the gym, like I see everything. And while I may be looking at you directly, I also see out of my peripheral vision like what's going on with others and around and stuff like that. But with this one specific incident, one of my girls rocked up to an exercise, and I could tell her mind just wasn't really in it. So I stopped her and I said, I don't know what you're thinking about. I don't know what's happening in your head right now, but you need to step away and you need to think like, hey, I don't care if Eldine has another client afterwards. I'm going to get this up. I guess it's a pretty good segue because um, what was the worst thing that could happen? Well, like the worst thing would obviously be injury, which is never a good thing. But the worst thing that could have happened was she didn't make the lift. Now that didn't happen. What actually happened was she straight killed it for that 3 reps. This is the block that we're working in, um, which is those 3 rep max. But it was really about she stepped up to something where she wasn't quite sure how it was going to look, how it was going to feel, and just that unfamiliarity of being in that position. And so I could see it written all over her face like, hey, look, I'm just out of my league. And normally, when we step up to anything with that kind of mentality, it's going to turn out bad anyway. So, like, I always try and give my people the best. What's the word I'm looking for? The best possibility of the best possible outcome. Yeah. So I stopped her. I said, look, this like mindset separates everything, but it's a lot. a lot more crucial that I've found in sports like boxing, things like lifting weights, because it's only you. So if you're rocking up to something that's, and you're half and half about it, you're not going to make that lift. So said step away, like come with the understanding that Eldine's going to have to keep these lights on for until 1, 2, 3 o'clock, if that's what the case needs to be. Um, and yeah, like she stepped away and was like, you could tell like straight away, boom, just dead set locked in, and she ended up getting that lift. So it was solid. So that was, yeah. I'm just like, there was that, but there was also a lot of PBs tonight, like which is personal best. So it was like I'm my favorite gif is the one where like Drake's on the sideline and he's like, "Let's go," like doing that one, because that's just who I am. And again, like for everyone that comes in, which is a like awesome thing for tonight. I didn't even realize that it works out so well. But it's like, what's the worst that could happen? The worst that could happen is you injure yourself, and then, hey, don't worry, I've got you, because we can just do a rehab plan, and then we'll be back to where we are in a couple of weeks. But the worst thing that could happen is you feel a little bit out of place, but you're around dope as hell humans who just uplift you. And like, people have seen that they bring their tiny little human along, and you can do all of this and that. And like, yeah, like it's just hella dope.
Was the tiny human there tonight?
No, but tomorrow though. Tomorrow night for sure.
Oh, okay. I want more photos of the tiny human because
No,
it's so
bet,
cute.
bet, bet,
Oh,
bet,
I
bet for
love the
sure.
tiny human. Does the tiny human have a name? Or we're just calling him Forever Tiny Human?
Uh,
He'll just be Forever Tiny Human.
Forever, tiny human.
Tiny human. Excellent. And so Kimberly said it was in a good way that you're going, in a good way. So
Yeah, okay. Yeah, 'cause I was like, am I real? Like, is it something wrong? I don't know, like, what's going on? Like, lighting good or whatever.
yeah, I know that's great. And so did you have the conversation with the girls about what's the worst that can happen, or it was just sort of um, implied that switch on and we're going for this again, and there was no um, back door out of this? It's like the only way out is through it, and we're not going until you're done. So
I kind of reiterate the point like the whole time, like with that, like we're going and we're gonna get it. We're gonna keep going until we get it. So that's what I always tell them. Even if that's not the case, we still strive for that. And then, because normally if I say, look, if you don't get it, then we can just drop it back down. If they're if I don't think that they're up for the task, that's what I will always do. I will always 100% keep the safety of my girls and everyone that walks into the gym paramount and always at the front of the line. But I am extremely great at what I do, and I can sense when they can lift it. But I can also sense when they know they can lift it, but they're just scared. So it's like that's when I give them the ultimatum of like, hey, step away, talk to, and do whatever you need to. Like if you need to pull your head out of somewhere and then get it into this lift, do that. Um, Understand and come with that presence of like, I am a boss. This is what I do, and give it everything. Then, if it fails and you don't get that lift, that's awesome, because we know that's not where we're at for right here, right now. That doesn't mean that it's never going to get there. Just for right now, let's take a couple of kilos off. We'll add a couple more reps, and then we will eventually get to that place where we're able to lift heavier than that. So, as much as I guess I kind of tricked them into giving them the yeah, I guess I kind of tricked them in saying, look, A is the only option. There is no B. Even though I always know there's a whole alphabet behind it, I only give them I give them a lot of what they need and a little bit of what they want. Like, okay,
Oh,
yeah, I give them, and
drop that.
that's like that's not me. Like, that's my leaders and my teachers have taught that to me because they did the exact same thing. Like, you did that, Dad did that. My coaches have done that through basketball. My actual coach right now, like, he's doing that. Like, he often says, "Look, this is what you need." I was like, "Yeah, I don't want to do that." And he's like, "Yeah, but you're doing it." And I'm like, but like he always gives me what I need first and foremost, which is definitely what I do to my girls. Like, if they're in a block, which they were at, obviously, like, they're in a new block, last block, they were making sweet gains. So it's like, why would I mess that up when this is what you need to roll into the next one? And like, if you're making sweet gains with this next block here, why would I mess that up? Like, let's keep going, because obviously your body's responding well to it. This is what you need for right here, right now. And then afterwards, that's when we can get after it to something different, when those things start to slow up, because obviously you need something different.
Right, okay. That's awesome. One of the things today, because we all need a coach. Like, let's be real. We all need somebody who is already there, who has been there, or is several steps ahead of us. And so I get coaching from Karen Smith. She's my girl, she's my sister. I love her, saved my life. I told her that your birthday's coming up, and she said it's not possible that you can be that age because you don't look a day over 25. Something like that. It's just like, that means I'll look really young as well. That's excellent. Something like that. We'll go something like that. That could be a song. Anyways, and so I was talking to her about stepping up, doing new things, and going like balls to the wall. And I was trying to explain to her what exactly balls to the wall was. Because like it was an interesting conversation, let me tell you, because trying to get her to understand the non-army talk or the army talk for someone who hasn't been there was an interesting journey. Anyway, I was talking about how I want to go balls to the wall. I want to do all these new things. I've taken over Spirit Hive, which is a charity and an NGO that I'm going to get up and running. Well, it's already up and running, but I'm taking it to that next place where it's going to be about families being able to connect with their kids, be empowered, heal their trauma. Boom. And so I was talking to her about, stepping into that and trying to figure out how to do that and going all in for that, but also not knowing like what to do and stuff. And she was like, well, it's new ground. You haven't done this before. So Jess reckons, you've had this quandary of explaining balls to the wall a couple of times, Karen. I enjoy watching you every time. I know, it's so exciting watching you try every time. Balls to the wall. I just think that's the whole, like, the graphic in my head with that is so exciting. And so we were talking about moving forward. I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing. And she just said, but you haven't done it before. So how would you know? Like, you're going to fumble and fall. And then she said, there is a statistic. I don't know this. I don't know who wrote it, who did it, whatever. But she said that they did some sort of a study, and 1 out of 1,000 people will go first and lead, and 999 will follow. So they did some sort of a study around leaders, and then they talked to other people, and the thing that they found was that only 1 out of 1,000 people actually want to be the one to go first. The one that's interested in breaking ground, the one that's interested in falling on their big scone over and over and over. And 999 are actually happy to go, I'll follow you, you go first. And so when you think about breaking ground and you think about going first, that's so true, because we go, ooh, like, I'm just like, you go and then I'm not sure, or like, oh, I'll kind of follow. But when you think about, no matter what it is, when you have to go first and you have to be the first, like scary as all hell because you don't know what you don't know. You don't know when you step up to the bar if you can do that because the last time you stepped up to the bar you were lifting less than that. So how do you know this time? So it's that whole continually going first to go, I have no idea what I'm doing, and if I fall on my big scone, I'm just going to make sure I've got plenty of Savlon or Benadine, like with the scratches. Um, you know, and I have that whole, you know, the reason I have the red is because if I scratch my forehead, it'll blend. You know, like same. Yeah, that's it. It's like having that being brave enough to go first. Oh, and Karen says you are that one person. Oh, Karen, I just love you. You're just so cute. I have the best people. We have the best people in our world. Like seriously, we don't have any a-holes around us at all. We have like the best humans ever in the world around us. We're so blessed. And so you do that with your girls as well. You did that with the gym. You did that with going overseas. You did that with the fitness. And it's not just about always doing the whole big thing. You know, like it's not, we talk about going first. That could be you within your family going first.
100%.
You know, that's you going, I'm actually going to do something different because I'm the first one that done it. So I'm going to do that thing, whatever that thing. It might be starting, you know, to eat healthy or to break an addiction or to move out of town or to, you know, to study or like whatever it is, you being the one to go, I'm going to go first because I want to be the 1 in 1,000 rather than the 999. And not to say that there's anything wrong with being the 999, but if everybody's the 999, then it's going to be like 1,000 who's there because no one's going first. And so I loved that statistic because it actually puts into a really clear graphic for me about we do fumble and fall and we do go first. We have no frame of reference. Like if we're going first, we're trying to pull from other people's experience to go, what is this? What do I do? I'm not sure. That's why coaches are so important because they can support us through this, but we still need to be the one to do it.
Yeah. 100%.
Like you can say to your girls, come on, let's go. They're still the one that have to step up to the bar and lift.
Yeah, 100%. Like I use, like one of my biggest things, and I've done a couple of posts for it, and I may start to look to get back into it. But I love dissecting movies. So one of the big ones that's really pertinent for this and was one of my favorite movies is The Matrix, right? Like, so for those who haven't seen The Matrix, go back and watch it. But there's a guy who Keanu Reeves, he's obviously the main guy, but everyone's telling him like, hey, this is who you are. Like you're the one who's gonna save us and all this other kind of great stuff. And same kind of thing, like he steps up to it like, I don't really know if I am. And then there are some people who are like, yeah, bro, no, that's you. Like you're this savior. Then there's some people like, nah, that's not you. But it's not until like, so I guess like he's in that part of that 99 where he doesn't want to go first. But then once he starts to believe it, he starts to get that little bit of momentum. And then he starts to see like, no, okay, like I'm that guy. Like, but it all started within himself. Same kind of thing like for the girls, like I can tell them heaps like, let's go, like, you know, you got this. Like I can see that they have it when they can't. Like that's what I do. Like that's one of my superpowers. But when they don't step up to the bar, I know. And then when they do step up, like when they step to the bar, I know. So it's like it's like that, but it's also like another great quote. It's like, you know, those who say that they are and those who say that they're not are both right. So when they step up to the bar and their confidence is high and they're like, "Oi, if I die with this, then I die. At least I'm surrounded by some solid humans." And then when they're like, I don't know if I can get this, they're like, "Don't do it. Don't do it." Like you're risking injury when you're like, I just don't know if I can.
And then, so where do you think that they get that if they're stepping up to the bar going, I'm not entirely sure, as opposed to them going, yep, boom, that's it, I'm stepping up and I'm getting. Where does that come from? Where do they get that from?
I don't know, and like that's
Okay.
honestly, it's a great question because I know their mannerisms, and even though they've been with me for like a month and a bit, like they've spent some quality time in there, but I just like I just see it for what it is. When like it just when they step to the bar, they just look different. Like their energy, their whole demeanor just changed. Like they could be laughing and joking if that's their thing, and they're like, yeah, like let's go, like super amped if that's how they rock when they're super confident. Then when they're not, they could be like a little bit timid, like they may look like it's written all over their face. And then I'm like, stop, take a step back, do not approach the bar, understand that you are a dope human, and do not step into this bar until you realize that, and then go in there and lift that bar. And then they're normally like, oh, okay, maybe I am a little bit. And then they get that first one out, like, ooh, okay. Now, like I'm walking that path a little bit, and then they start to do it again, and then like by the end of it, I'm screaming like I'm a head coach in the NBA. Like I actually got mad at my girls tonight because I was like, why are you not celebrating super loud for a personal best? Like, what are you doing? You don't celebrate loud for a PB again, and everyone here's doing sprints. Like, it's. But honestly, I guess we would need to ask some of my girls, like, what it is that eventually just what clicks within them, because like that's such a great question. Like I can only give it from my point of view, and I guess it's always great to have someone backing you, but backing the part of you that thinks like, hey, I can do this. Like, because obviously there are some times when I've been at basketball and I was like, I just don't know if I can guard this person or if I can beat this team. And then there've been you and dad, like, or sometimes just dad, sometimes just you, but he's pulled me aside, and especially dad, like he's super blunt. For everyone who knows my dad, he don't muck around. He will say like, "Boy, you need to effing pull your head out and go hard to the rack." And I was like, "Yeah, okay." And I'll do one move, and I was like, "Nah, I bet." And then like the game's just totally different. So I guess it comes back that I feed them in a way that is like, hey, like in a way that they need. Like I've kind of done some reverse psychology sometimes where it's like, okay, well, I like show me if you can. So it's them like, nah, like forget LD, I'm gonna get this, and then they get it, and I was like, then they're like, yeah, see, I got it, and I was like, yeah, I know you could, but it's like me knowing like me knowing it doesn't really mean anything until you know it. Like you've done this with me numerous times. Dad's done this with me forever. Like it's totally different until you know the path that you're walking, compared to someone else knowing that you can walk that path.
And I love that. And it's almost like that whole we borrow people's belief until we can get our own. Because you know that everybody who goes there has so much capacity in them, because that's the concept of being there, the building, the growing, all that sort of stuff. So so Melissa said, changing the narrative we have for ourselves.
Get it?
Let's just
Yeah.
can we
Let's
just
yeah, there we go.
boom, boom, boom. We need like a bell or a ding or something.
Yeah, and wait, big shout outs to Melissa. Like straight killed it. Like dead set came into class, and yeah, like could see. I was like, oh, so I super brilliant. Like, thanks for jumping in, Melissa. But yeah,
Mm.
like super just came in and that's 100% what she did. Like throughout the whole session, like
Mm.
was just, and I could see that battle happening.
Mm.
And obviously there were times where I jumped in and was like, hey, cut it out, switch on, and yeah, okay, the boom, and it killed it. And I was like,
Mm.
oh, that's what it's about. Like
Yeah.
even if you fail, like drop the weights, and like the worst thing that could happen, like could also be the best thing that can happen. How it gets. Thank you. 100%.
Yay, that's awesome. Awesome. Look, you just can't, you'll be like this for the rest of the week, but that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, 100. Well, don't worry. Tomorrow's legs, so like you won't even have to worry about your arms. So
That's right. That's, yeah, so, and then by the time then you've legs, the back to arms, so that you can crawl. Loving
that's
it. I'm loving it. I love it.
yeah. Like, like yeah, like 100%. Like she just not just her, but everyone. Like everyone has that internal battle. Like myself included. Like I've have had plenty and still have plenty. Like, but it's all about knowing when to like switch and when to borrow the belief from this person, and then knowing when like, hey, this doesn't serve me, so throw it away and take this one, take that one, and maybe this one works really well with this one, so put them together and it works for ages. Like it's
Mm,
it's all those things.
absolutely. Well, I'm going to run training tomorrow. Like, this is cultural awareness. Like, I can do cultural awareness with my eyes closed. And I literally had a wave of panic come over me just before dinner because it was like, oh my God, like I'm going to, and it's only 4 hours. I mean, seriously, I can talk without taking a breath for 4 hours. So
True,
I know,
true.
right? True story. Like I can talk for 5 days, let alone 4 hours. It's like, oh
True.
my God. But it's that whole, oh my gosh, like, can I do this? Like, what if I say? And then it was really just bringing myself back to the box breathing. So I remember you talk about box breathing. So I started to do some of that. The box
What is box breathing?
started. So you go, so I did it for 4 because I can't hold it for much longer, but I go 4 in, hold for 4, out for 4, hold for 4. And so
What is
I'm
it?
really, huh?
Sorry, keep going. Keep going.
And so it really allows me to stay present because I was, as we do when we have anxiety, is we go straight into the future. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. Because um, we can't have anxiety about the past because
Mm.
anxiety can only happen about the future. Because try to get anxious about something that's happened, you can't. You can have depression about something that's happened, but you cannot have anxiety about it because anxiety is about what's happening in the future. Now, you can have something happen and then be anxious about something else about that, but you cannot be anxious about that thing that's already happened because it's done.
Yeah.
And so the thing that we do when we do the box breathing is it allows us to connect the two parts of our brain, our right and left hemisphere, causes prefrontal cortex to come back online, so it's re-engaging. So there's all kinds of allowing the autonomic nervous system to go. So we're allowing our body to not think that we're going to die, and we're able to breathe it through. And the greatest thing about it is coming back to, I need to be present. Like I need to focus internally and be present on what's here now, because if I don't, I'm going to pass out.
Mm.
Because that's usually what happens. The very first things that we do is when we get anxious or whatever, we stop breathing, we hold our
Yeah.
breath.
Doing all this kind of stuff. Yeah.
Oh my God! Like, and we kind of need oxygen. Like, just saying.
Yeah.
So it's that same thing of not being switched on and not being present, same as stepping up to the bar and being like, I'm here, I'm focused 100%, concentrating on the in and the out, and then boom, lifting. It's exactly the same sort of thing.
Yeah. No, and like yeah, that's definitely what I've done to everyone that stepped into the gym, but 100% my girls, like when they're looking to go and hit that new a heavier weight that they haven't done before or haven't done in a long time, like they are super nervous, they are super anxious. Like, man, like what if this slips and like hits me in the head? Like what if it falls and hits me in the throat and I die? And like all of this other crazy stuff. And I can see that internal dialogue like just going back and forwards, and then that's when I stop and like they kind of just get that look at me like, bro, like are you in my head? Like, how can you see what's going on? I was like, I don't know what was said, but I know something big was happening. So stop, move away,
Mm.
come back when you're ready. Even if you need to go and get a drink, like clear your head, come back to it. Because that was one of the things that like, plenty of my coaches have said, like, you need to come in with a clear head. You need to be like, hey, like I'm going to lift this. I'm going to give it my all in this exact moment in space and time. And then if it fails, what's the worst that could happen? We pick it up again in a couple of days, next week, week after that. Like,
That's right.
especially, like, yeah. And I always tell them like this is, and I tell my kids that come in as well. Like, what we do in here in the gym is not for in the gym. Like the breathing stuff, the stepping away when it's not working so that we can reevaluate that internal dialogue. Like how many times have we been in that situation? And like obviously everyone who's watching as well, when we need to be like, whatever it is in our personal life just isn't working. So we need to take a step
Mm.
back. We need to breathe. We need to reevaluate, is this something that I want to do? Sometimes it is. Awesome. Let's go back at it from a different angle when we've calmed ourselves down. If it's not and you don't want to be there, like that's so dope. Like then don't be there. And the same thing for the gym.
Mm.
Like, I told my kids today, like if you don't want to be here, like that's fine. Like do this for you. Like if you want to spend that hour trying to like up level and upskill so you can be a Fortnite wizard, awesome. Go for that. If you want to take that time and rather go and play basketball and rather be a kid or study whatever, like that's awesome. Doesn't help my pocket, but yet it helps me because of the fact like I love that you're going to do something that you want to do because it's a teaching that I taught you how to do. So
Mm.
and like they were like, oh, they were kind of taken back a little bit, like I love everyone that comes to the gym. So if I can give you all these like tools and tips and tricks where you can go and benefit your life for the better, regardless if that's with me or with someone else. Like I love everyone, so like go and do
Mm.
you at the best of your ability.
Yeah, I love that. You have epic humans everywhere.
I do like straight up. Like there's no like I've said to everyone. There are heaps like everyone comes in and they're super nervous. Like oh man, I don't know about this, and like I'm super nervous, and I'm like hey, cut it out. First off, second off, I have no ball bags that come to my gym. Like I just don't. Like I'm I'm probably the biggest ball bag at my gym, and I'm not a ball bag. So like
That's right.
you know, like there can only be one fool at the gym, and like that's already taken by me. So like and every like what I love the most is that no one's the same. Like everyone has so many different skills and different assets in different areas that like hey what's the worst that could happen, man, I don't have this skill, don't worry, one of my other girls have it, one of my girls may not have it, but someone in their family may have it. Like so it's really building that intricate web of people, not just who come to the gym, but I also get like I guess in a weird way, like their contacts as well. Like, hey, I need this. Yep, cool. Don't worry. I know Joe Blow
Mm.
down the street. He's the guy for that. Sweet. I need something this. Don't worry. Like, Susie here, she got you. She did this for me. All right, bet. I don't need it, but so and so may need it. Don't worry. Just say that. So it's that
Yeah.
intricate web where everyone's helping everyone, which is what I'm trying to do. And like, it's not even me doing it. Like, I just happen to own a gym and people just come in and do it on off their own accord, which is what more could you ask for? Like,
Well, that's right.
I guess this
Yeah.
is if we're talking about what's the worst that could happen. Like, I guess we need to on the other side of the coin. Like, we need to talk about what's the best that could happen.
Mm-hmm.
There's also a 50% possibility for that as well. Like, the best thing to happen is that I open a gym and everyone loves each other and everyone
Yep.
gets to go out and they hang out afterwards, which is exactly what happens. Like Tuesdays, we go out for dinner. Like, and I just thought that I would open a gym and people would just want to come and chill for that hour, but I'm having to find like people actually want to be in my company outside of like my work hours. And I was like, are you tripping a little bit? Like, are you like, and then I go into that kind of like anxious anxiety mode, like, man, like these people want like, nah, surely they're trying to get something. It's like, no, it's just a testament to the vibe at the gym, like, and I guess
It's that family that you built. That's what that whole family. That's what you wanted, and so families like to hang out with each other outside, which is awesome. Like I love that. Where are you going tomorrow night?
I do believe it's the South Tavern. So we have come up with, or we have identified that we have been hitting up a lot of pubs. We have also identified from a number of them that um, pubs aren't bad, which they are not because pubs normally have solid schnitzels. But yeah, like we're like legitimately, we could almost start like a food blog for here in Dubbo because we just travel around. Like we've gone to 3 or 4 of them at the moment. You good? You've muted yourself.
Are you there?
Yeah. I don't know
Can
what
you
you
hear
did.
me?
Yeah. Can you
I
hear
can't
me?
hear you.
What'd you do?
You're not muted. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I can't hear you.
Okay. Well, can you hear me now? Pull the thing down.
Did my thing?
So
No,
people,
that's weird.
Karen is having some
This is
technical
weird.
difficulties.
I can't because I can't hear you.
I hear you. I hear you. Can you hear me?
I can't. I can't hear you.
Okay.
Okay,
Well,
so
let me just call.
I don't know what's happened. I don't know. My thing's turned itself off. Hang on.
Normally it's me doing technical difficulties, but it is Karen here. So well, that kind of works just in time.
Just hang on for 1 second. I'll see if I can. Hello?
Yes.
Hello.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you
Hello?
better worse same?
Let me just check.
Sorry about this, guys.
Just wait 1 second.
Again, what's the worst that could happen is that people wait with us for a couple of minutes, and if not, then we simply just shut it down and then we end it there for tonight.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, this is just. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, well, I still can't hear you. I don't know what happened. It's gone. So we probably need to like wrap it up because I can't hear you. We were overdue for some technical difficulties. Indeed, we were. If you can hear me, I can't. I can having to lip read for you. So I'm not sure. Bronwyn, can you hear Eldine?
Yes. Yep.
But only it's me that can't hear you. Well, that's not fair.
host unmuted your mic. Can you hear me now?
Is your mic's not off, is it?
No, I'm good to go.
No, it's me. Oh, hang on. Try say hello.
Hello.
Yeah, no. So Bronwyn can hear both of you. You can hear me. I can't hear you. Okay. Well, what about now?
Yeah, you're still good to go.
No, still nothing. Yeah, I got nothing. Okay. Well, let's wrap it up. Thanks very much, everybody, for watching and listening. We'll catch you again next week. Okay?
Yep. So
we'll
yes,
end the broadcast.
we will. So big love and thank you to everyone.